Solutions here on Daily Dodge TV and 95.3 WB. You almost said 1430 ESPN.
Close enough.
Matt Heiar is here from Heiar Insurance. I am Wade Bates. Again, if you're watching on Daily Dodge TV, you can subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, and anytime Matt is on the air, you'll get a notification on your phone. You can take a look at that and see what's going on. You can also, lots of different ways to like and enjoy. And Matt, this is a busy time for you, isn't it, at Heiar Insurance?
Oh, yes. It's the phones keep ringing. Let's just say that.
I guess before we get going, tell us about Heiar Insurance, where you're located, how people can get in contact with you.
Yeah, so at Heiar Insurance, we, especially this time of year, we've been assisting people with their Medicare plans, Advantage plans, supplements, drug plans. Also, we just started another enrollment period with Marketplace Insurance. So that's for all of our younger folks under 65. We help out with life insurance. We do retirement planning, income planning, 401k rollovers. So yes, we're located right down the road here on 1645 North Spring Street. So we're at the Heritage Mall, right next to Joann's Fabrics.
Oh, so they're great. You're at Joann's Fabrics. So you can do a little craft work while you're getting people ready, right?
Yes. We get a lot of traffic that way.
So I guess we were talking about the busyness. I said he's kind of like an accountant from like the end of January to like April, where they have there's busy. Your hours. You're probably working sun up till sundown or well past sundown, taking care of people, right?
Yes, absolutely. And it's so like if you're going to get a call from me, the calls are going to be at the end of the day because basically I have appointments every hour on the hour. So I had my appointment this morning, radio show, and then I have a 1, 2, 3, and 4.
So obviously at this point right now, what are they doing right now? Explain what they're doing.
Yeah. So if you're on Medicare right now, then you have, if you chose to do a supplement, you need a drug plan. Well, drug plans are 1-year contracts. So next year there's 14 of them. So we're typing your drugs in, where you pick them up at the pharmacy, whatever's the cheapest plan for you next year. That's what we do.
Is it past? Okay, if somebody's new to the mix and say if they just hit one of those magic numbers and they haven't done anything yet, they're listening to your voice. Oh, you're right. I think I got to be doing something about that, or I've kind of dragged my feet. It's not too late. It's not too late to get in. Is there like a hard window that you have to have it in by, or how does it all work?
There is, absolutely. That's a great question because not too many people know much about Medicare.
Yeah.
But with Medicare, so you're eligible for Medicare at age 65.
Okay.
So then there's an enrollment period. So you have 3 months before to sign up, the month of, and 3 months after. We have to hit that window. So right now, we've been dealing with all our 1959ers this year. Well, now we're already moving on to our 1960 babies. So we're already signing people up that are eligible for Medicare February 1st already.
Okay.
So yes, we want it, the sooner the better, because the government stuff, it takes a while for the processing and to get your Medicare card. Then we will start to talk about plans.
Okay.
But just give us a call prior, 3 months before, and we will assist you in creating an account, signing up for Medicare, talking about Social Security, and eventually retirement.
So it's not like when it comes to Medicare and stuff, it's not like it's January 1st, like a date. I mean, like you said, why does it start right here? Why do the plans renew at this time?
Yeah, so basically there's Advantage plans, which are 1-year contracts, just like the drug plans. So they're government contracts. So I know exactly what your benefits are going to be for 2025, and we find that out October 1st. So October 15th to December 7th, that's our fun time, 7 weeks to jam everything in and to review everyone's insurance. And it's controlled chaos. I mean, that's honestly what it is.
Now, do you remember the first portion of controlled chaos that you experienced, and what was it like that first time? And how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this about 6 years now. Yes, so my first time going into this, it was chaos. I just did not expect this. And even 6 years ago, it doesn't seem that long ago, but we were faxing everything. Like one day I faxed the entire day. Like
do you still have a fax machine in your office?
Well, we have the...
Or like to do it off of like a JPEG or like off of like a file?
Well, it's a printer that does everything.
Okay, so
yeah.
Do you get many faxes anymore?
Yes, like to Social Security, we still have to fax.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Do you that's amazing to me though that they just haven't changed their office? Or
I have no idea, but it's so brutal because you have to wait for that weird sound, Yeah.
Your kids don't even know what that is, probably.
Absolutely not.
Craig Karmazin always tells the story that when he was walking through the office when he created Good Karma Brands here in Beaver Dam, one of the previous owners talked about him and told him that, hey, there's a fax machine here. We got new technology, and
Well, I guess it was probably like the 8-tracks, huh?
Yeah. No, it was still like mid 90s, so it was still. But yeah, the fax machine I thought were, I haven't sent a fax in probably a decade.
I know. It's brutal. So like, yes, I was faxing like for an entire day, that fax machine, because it's not a quick process. Now we just scan and upload everything to portals, and so the insurance companies are evolving, but for some reason the federal government.
Yeah. So there's somebody on the other end at the federal government that is watching. If you're doing it, there's probably thousands and thousands of other agents and people like you doing the same thing for this period, and they're just seeing how do they keep track of them all?
I have no idea. It's but yeah, so that is another thing, just the technology aspect of it, how it's evolved, and then just seeing like our clients like 6 years ago, I would be like, all right, what's your email to try to create an account for Social Security's website, and they're like, I don't have one. What's that? And now it's like everyone's so much more technologically
advanced.
Yes.
Advanced is a good word.
Yep, and they are. I mean, it's just we're getting text messages from clients now, and it's just much easier to walk them through the process of how we do it. And we even have clients that are running their own drug plans now.
Okay. So, and what's the advantage? Or is there an advantage to running your own drug plan?
Well, just we have a big screen at the office, and we kind of go up there, sign into their account. We show them their drug plans, all the other drug plans, the options, and then our process basically, and then they're just doing it themselves. So I mean, there's no advantage, I would say, but at least they're understanding our method to our madness, why we're picking this plan.
Sure, and it's one of those things where you got to take your electrolytes. You have to make sure you stay hydrated all day long, because you literally, like you had said coming in, you've done nothing but talk, and you got here, and then you're going to do nothing but talk for an hour, and you're going to go home, and or back to the office, you're going to talk more, right?
Yeah, I used to make fun of my mom. She's like, I'm mentally exhausted. I'm like, what? I'd rather be mentally exhausted than physically exhausted. I take that back. Because it's like you just start talking and then phone calls and calling people back. And then I get home and, we're having supper and I'm just sitting there like a mute.
But it also, but when you come out on the back end, I know it's hard. You have to sometimes feel satisfied knowing that you made a direct impact on people's lives. That people can document. I worked with Matt, you worked with Heiar Insurance, and you got them through a portion. A lot of people have questions and they're nervous about it. And, when you're all done, you got to be like, even at the end of every day, it was a good day. It helped some people out. Yeah.
And people are very appreciative. They respect what we do and stuff, and, how we go above and beyond, certain things. Absolutely. But it's rewarding at the same time. December 7th is a great time of year.
So you got about a little less than a month.
Yep.
So what do you want to talk about? Anything specific you want to talk about at the enrollment period or drug plans right now that you're coming up upon when you do talk to people and get them ready and get them in the places they need to be?
Well, the big change with the drug plans for January 1st of 25 is they got rid of the donut hole.
Okay. What does that mean?
Yeah. So basically it's the donut hole is, once you hit a certain threshold, the drug companies, like say you pay for a medication that's $600 a month. Well, you're paying the tier 3 copay of $40. Well, every time you're paying $40, these drug companies are paying the $600. So once they spent about $5,000 this year, they say, no more $40. You got to pay 25% of the cost.
Okay.
So all of a sudden you'll go, to your pharmacy, and that $600 medication is $150 a month. Big shocker.
It is.
So now what they did is the Inflation Reduction Act of 2022, the final stage of it was we are not going to exceed $2,000 for our prescription medications. Excellent, right? And this is new for us because we don't know how this is going to go either. But so a lot of people that were getting medications from Canada or going to GoodRx, we're almost recommending just to use your drug plan, because once you hit that threshold, that's it. It goes to zero. So it's almost like the complete opposite of the donut hole. Typically, at the end of the year, we started paying a lot more for our drugs. Now we are going to pay, it goes straight to zero.
So you mentioned there are a couple of things that people may not be familiar with in getting prescriptions and things. You mentioned GoodRx in Canada.
Yep.
Explain, and we've talked a little bit about Canada in the past when I've sat in here, but just talk about other options that people have rather than going to, maybe a pharmacy or a traditional way that I would get something if I have a problem. I have a prescription. I talk about GoodRx and what Canada has to do with it.
Yeah, well, so I'm frugal. Actually, I pass frugal. I'm cheap. So
Okay.
basically, we're looking for the cheapest, drug that we can get. So with GoodRx, it's a coupon system basically, and you can just go on goodrx.com, pops up like a Google search, and you type in your medication, and then you could see at all the different pharmacies the price of it, and make sure your script is in there, like, 30 milligrams, once a day, and then basically you can look and see where it's the best value. A lot of times we still have to have drug coverage no matter what. Even people that come in at 65, they're like, I'm not on medications. You still have to have credible prescription drug coverage. So where we're running into situations is those random things you will get, like, you get a flare up of psoriasis once a year, so you need a cream. Well, those creams, they're generics, but they might make them a tier 3 drug, which is subject to your deductible. So if the retail cost of that drug was, just say, $100, it's all subject to deductible. You're going to pay $100. If we use GoodRx, potentially we could get it for $20, $30. So it's just something we're not going to meet the deductible, because the deductible this year for prescription drugs is $590. So it's going to take a while.
Now, you mentioned that, number one, you mentioned that you're cheap. I'm cheap, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Does your family think that you're cheap?
Oh yeah, they know.
My kids just get so mad at me. I'm like, why'd you spend? If you find a penny on the ground, you hold on to it
Absolutely.
as tight as you can until
Yeah.
you have to spend it, right?
Oh, put it right to the change jar. I mean, that's why if you wanna live the way you want to live in retirement, you got to be cheap now. So, and I know it's like, oh, you should get this nice fancy car. It's like, well, I don't need a mortgage payment for a car. And that's the difference, where you'll see a lot of people come in. They're like, I don't know if I can retire. And I'm like, you could have retired 10 years ago. And then some people are like, can I retire? I'm like, it's going to be tight, and it's all about your spending habits, and I know things are more expensive nowadays, but it's just, we got to live within our means. And those are the people that can retire, hands over fist. Absolutely.
This is Senior Solutions on 95.3 WBEV and Daily Dodge TV. Matt Heiar is with us here today. Matt, again, if people want to get in contact with you at your office to maybe work on drug deals in the enrollment period, well, I guess I read that a lot. They want to work on their drug plans.
Right.
Technically, they're deals, but they're just not. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to. Your drug plans.
I know. I read you. It was just funny how you said it. But
I know. After I said it, I'm like, yeah, that sounded kind of interesting. Got flagged right there by the FCC.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know about that, but it's just a blurry time because everything goes so fast. I definitely cannot complain about my days, going too slowly. But I mean, just everything. You just, between the election's finally over, and I'm still lost sleep because of that, because I stayed up late. But yeah, just today, I just feel like cloudy. I mean, the sun's out, it's Friday, and it's like, it's still a lot. Like, I was just at the gas station, and I just bought a Gatorade, which you see, and I didn't type in my whole PIN number.
Could you remember it at least?
No, like I just typed only 3 numbers in.
Oh.
And then all of a sudden she's like, comes outside. I'm in my car. She's like, oh, wait.
Oh, so you almost gassed it up.
I almost had the cops just chase me down to the radio station.
Oh, that'd have been fantastic. If they would have arrested you on camera.
And it's just like, wow, what am I doing?
I would have gone to break, Matt.
Yeah. Well, thanks. So hopefully I don't get cuffed right now. But no, I did officially pay for it. So, but yeah, it was just like things like that. I'm like, wow, what am I doing? It's just, you're so overwhelmed, and you're thinking about everything and your next appointments and next week and my appointment tomorrow. And so yeah, it's our busy time. We get to sleep over at the office. But
do you have a bed there?
No, I do not. Oh. That was a figure of speech. I
George
really
Costanza
do not sit
and Seinfeld, you're back underneath the desk.
No, I'm not literally sleeping there, but it seems like it.
And Matt, I was going to bring you brought something up. You mentioned that like the donut hole or whatever was closed a little bit, or the Inflation Reduction Act. Obviously, Tuesday night there's a change in leadership with the transition with former President Trump now becoming President-elect Trump again. Does that directly impact something right now with anything in the Inflation Reduction Act that helped seniors and things like that? We don't even know yet, probably.
We don't know. I mean, everyone's big question this week was, so is my Social Security going to be around? Is my Medicare going to be around? And yes, it will. Because he was president for 4 years and it didn't get taken away. He tried to take away the marketplace, but you can't. Like, you have to have something to replace it. You can't just say, hey, 10 million people, you don't have insurance anymore. There has to be something. Now, Could the marketplace have a little fixing? Absolutely. But they can't get rid of pre-existing conditions. You have to have that, because it's not someone's fault that they have cancer, or they have some autoimmune disease. So that will stick. But I mean, maybe they could go more regional, like we have a Midwest marketplace or like a Wisconsin marketplace.
Are there a lot of different ideas that people are floating around? Because when you look at it at the marketplace right now, you mentioned, I'll ask you, because you work with it like every day, probably, right? What are the positives and what are some things that need to be tweaked on it? Or what are some challenges that people have with it?
Great question. Yes.
Is it too hard of a question to ask in a day like today?
No, absolutely not. It's very broad. I mean, because, it works for people, and it all depends, but it's based, your premium you pay monthly is based on your household income. So even if your spouse is on Medicare and they're not on it, you file taxes jointly. So we need to know what your household makes, and that bases your premium. The plans, they're a little catastrophic. They're like, if a husband and wife are on it, you potentially could have a $9,200, max out of pocket per person.
Okay, for the year or
for the year?
Okay, I thought you were gonna say for a month.
No, but it's that's a lot. I mean, if you both get in a car accident at the same time, that's $18,000 potentially. Like, wow, like it's so like stuff like that, like lowering the deductibles and maximum out of pockets, because you hear all the commercials like, oh, it's affordable. More than 80% of America pays less than $10 a month, and that's true if you take those catastrophic plans. But if you want lower deductibles, lower max out of pockets, better prescription drug coverage, you're going to pay a premium, and it's very expensive. So we have to weigh the options, and we don't have the crystal ball, but it's just like, okay, how do we feel about this and that? The worst situation is when someone's doctoring a lot, and they have a surgery coming up. Then we got to find a plan, and it's either you pay a lot to the insurance company to have less that you pay to the facilities, or you pay less to the insurance company and more to the facilities. So it's it's a gamble. It really is, but I like the glass half full mentality where it's like, hey, let's pay less, and if we had a healthier year, we won. We save money. But if we make the decision to pay that, hefty premium right away, you're paying it no matter what, so it's all about your affordability, your comfort, and your health. So there is the pros, obviously anybody can get on it. So I like that, obviously. I wish the enrollment period was a little bit longer.
Yeah, why is it I'm going to say that sounds like it's short. Why is it so short? Why is it so small of a window?
I don't know exactly, because the marketplace is November 1st to December 15th for a January 1st start date. They did extend it to January 15th. So if you between December 15th and January 15th, it would be a February 1st start date, which doesn't make a lot of sense because typically insurance starts at the first of the year. So there's no way they can get rid of it because you need to replace it with something. I just think it needs a little bit of tweaks. But I was hoping the millions of dollars they were sticking into it, probably not millions, probably billions. Like I was hoping more so like better plans, more companies to choose from and stuff, having PPOs where you can go in and out of network, like stuff like that. And we're not getting that, but it's got good bones, it just needs a few things. And so I think that would be a better route if the new administration came in and decided to do stuff like that. But we can't get rid of it, just like we can't get rid of Social Security. Yeah. I mean, how many of our clients are just on Social Security? They can't just be like, sorry.
When somebody gets Social Security, is it the same for is it depending on what you paid in your livelihood or during your life, or is it the same for like everybody at certain ages? How does that work?
No.
A lot of people don't. I'm 51. I still don't really understand how that works. I just know stuff comes out of my check every single pay period.
Yep. So it's what you paid in.
Yep.
So everyone's Social Security is different. The soonest you can sign up for Social Security is 62. The latest or the highest it can grow is at 70. So anyone born 1960 or later, that's when you'll get 100% of your benefit. Is your full retirement age is 67. So our retirement age is 67, where we can get 100% of our benefit. But yeah, that was a big talk. Is everyone's like, well, what about this? Is it going to go away? No. Maybe they might move your starting date to 63, like you can't turn it on till. I could see that potentially.
What kind of an impact would that have?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
I'm sure people will not be happy, because there's a lot of people that do like pensions, and they have an accelerated pension because they can retire in their 50s, so they get a little bit more, and then at 62 their pension will go down, which defaults them to turn on their Social Security, and if they can't turn on their Social Security for another year, well, that's not good. So there's a lot of talks and stuff, and typically that's election years. A lot of promises. It'd be great if there's no taxes on Social Security, though. I'm hoping that one it was a truthful statement, but yeah, there's so there's a lot of stuff and a lot of talk, and I'm just it's politics, so you just never know what's true, what's not. What are they going to follow through with, but we'll see. It's every year's a new year, and you never know.
It is. Now, why can't the marketplace be open just all year round? Why can't it be a 12-month? Wouldn't it spread everything out then if it's just always open and you can go, or maybe there's like a small window, like an off season for like the NBA that's like 2 months.
Yeah,
to get going.
Well, you read the disclaimer, and I will let you know.
Oh, okay. That the opinions that are expressed on Senior Solutions is that of Matt Heiar and Heiar Insurance, not necessarily that of Good Karma Brands. That one.
You did well with that.
Hey, thank you. Thank you very much.
No paper, nothing. No, and I agree. Like that was another thing I thought of. Like if it's middle of June and you don't have insurance, why can't you get it? So the rule is you have to have a life event. You have to lose insurance within the last 60 days.
Okay.
And I do have people come in 90 days later, and they're like, yeah, I lost my insurance. I didn't even find out till then. Can I get something? And I have to say no, which is terrible. Like if you're reaching out to get insurance, why shouldn't you be able to get insurance?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I think the enrollment period, there shouldn't be one. I mean, yes, there should be an enrollment period to review it, go over it, reassess your tax credits and stuff. But at the same time, I think if you want to be able to get it, you should be able to get it once per year.
Sure, and that's just one of those, obviously stressful things for people because you never know what life brings you, and then you get kind of caught in that window where you're.
It's the number one reason people file bankruptcy is medical bills.
Medical bills, other ones. So then what? So if you don't have insurance, you're waiting to a certain day. Are there people that literally like don't want to leave the house because they're afraid of because you never know if you're going to get in an accident or something's going to happen and you just kind of try to lay low.
I hope it's not to that level, but I mean, yes, I always just joke with people like when they take those catastrophic plans, like, hey, we got 6 more months till Medicare. All right, so just wrap yourself in bubble wrap.
Yeah.
And
you never know though. I mean, something could drop off the ceiling right now where we're at. You just don't know though, right?
Yeah, well, Good Karma will pay for that, right?
Oh, perfect.
I don't know about that. Just kidding.
The opinions expressed by Matt Heiar are not necessarily those of.
A double disclaimer.
Are there a lot of people that do strictly live off Social Security once they hit those magic numbers? Are there a lot of people that do that?
Yeah, I'm seeing it more and more just because of like widowed spouses. Yep. So they were fine with 2 Social Securities in the household, but all of a sudden one, it's like, wow, this is drastically different. And then how pensions are going away.
Sure.
Unless you're state, county, city, or you're not getting a pension typically, and it's really tough, and it's making retirement harder because we have a 401k, we keep getting this statement, and it's like, what does that mean? Does that mean I can retire, or how much will I get? What do I need? And it's much different. Like when my dad retired, he just told HR and they're like, sign here, and then they just started giving him money every month, and that's much easier way to retire, and then you don't have to worry about the stock market or like investing it and diversifying it. And so, it's definitely a lot more difficult. And it's just another thing, just like Medicare and Social Security, that we're not taught.
Yeah. I think pensions probably around turn of the century. Maybe that's kind of when I just remember, because obviously my dad was a paper mill guy and they had huge, pensions and things. And they went through a couple sales and you start to see, they're cutting back. They don't have it. And I think back in the day, and we're both, I'm not young anymore. You're still young, Matt, but,
well, thanks.
But I mean, it was one of those things where probably there are people now that are, in their 20s and 30s that don't understand what a pension is and how it was a staple of life for many, many people for decades, probably. It was an incentive to work, and that's just kind of the way economics have changed things. Those have gone away.
Yeah, and that was, so people are living longer.
Yes.
So that's why the pensions kind of fizzled out and stuff. But like back in the day, your retirement benefits were you got a pension and you got to keep your health insurance. And with just everyone's complaining about inflation, you should see the inflation when it comes to health insurance premiums. It's just astronomical, and that's where, that's why these companies kind of just said, no, we're not doing this anymore. And which is frustrating, but at the same time, you just need an advocate, like us at Heiar Insurance.
Yep.
I mean, that's what we do.
Help people close that gap if you have it. Because I still remember, because there are people that even retired with the insurance and it was guaranteed written into some contracts and stuff, like whether it be a union thing or just within the company. And then all of a sudden, 5 years after you retire, like, just kidding, we can't do it anymore.
Yes.
And then they're coming to Heiar Insurance and saying, hey, Matt, how can you and your staff help us out to kind of get there?
Yep, and that's everyone comes into our office and they're like, I don't know anything about Social Security. I don't know anything about Medicare. And it's like, yes, the government kind of failed us, like by not teaching us or not properly giving us, the classes or the necessities, to educate ourselves on this, So you just have to go to these, agents and stuff, and hopefully they're, leading you in the right direction. And that's the scary part about it and stuff. But there is no right answer, and that's why my job is kind of cool even during this time of year, because I mean, everyone's different, and it's, you pick plans by affordability, your comfort with the plan, and your health, and not so much your health today, just because I have people that say, I haven't been to the doctor in 5 years, I'm healthy as a horse. That's not always a good thing, so we just basically, whatever your neighbor had, it doesn't mean that's best for you. And we just evaluate that. We show you different plans, and then you ultimately decide.
What's the learning curve for you? Okay, so when it opens like on a certain date, like you mentioned, how far in advance do you get at Heiar Insurance, like what the plans are? Because I'm assuming you have to do a lot of homework when every year if things change. And how do you tackle that, trying to figure out what the government has done and what's there, and just knowing the options that are out there?
Yeah, we get 14 days.
Okay.
So October 1st, the plans come out publicly on the government website, and then that's when we get to see, like, is it going to be a long year or is it going to be, a better?
What would make you decide it was going to be a long year or a better year? What are some initial bullet point things you would look at?
So there's like a couple drug plans and advantage plans that have been really popular, for people on generic drugs, really low premiums. So if that plan all of a sudden next year was, $5 a month, and next year is $35 a month, yes, we're going to have a lot of people switching. And that's a lot of, applications and meetings and stuff. And it's a no-brainer. So they're meant to review every year, but not necessarily switch. But every fall you'll get your book of changes. Like, actually the consumer finds out before us, and it says, hey, in 25, this is what you paid. In 26, this is what you're going to pay. This was your premium for tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, and this is what it's going to be now. So if you look at that and you don't see any changes, you do nothing, it just rolls right over. So they're not necessarily meant to switch. If we can only save you $20 next year, yeah, it's not worth switching. And getting new cards and new billing systems, no, absolutely not. So it just has to make sense, what we do. But yeah, it's you never know how the year's going to go, so it's a little scary.
So far, you said you're working long hours, but you're working your way through it.
Yeah, I mean, the long hours are going to be there, just because we're trying to, see so many people. And some people have been so gracious that they're like, hey, I'm cool if you just call us and we'll just talk it through over the phone. That is great. Because I'm a talker and I get sidetracked a lot, and the appointments go longer than they should. But so we have smaller appointment times, but I always tell people, if you want to, review this again, after the enrollment period, which I'll have so much more time. Absolutely. So we do set up a bunch of appointments, in the year, just to go over things again, just to answer any other questions that we couldn't in the short amount of time we have.
Typically, how long? It's probably different for everybody, but typically, if somebody does want to meet with you face to face, I mean, that meeting could probably go 10 minutes. That meeting can go an hour.
They're typically so if you're coming in for Medicare, and, to actually start the journey of Medicare, it's an hour appointment.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, because there's a lot, and I always see people's heads spinning, and you don't have to memorize things. We're going to go over it again. But yeah, like the drug plans for clients that have been there, we're maxing those out at a half hour. Same with like our marketplace renewals, because everything's the same. We go through the application, nothing really changes. And, it's, hey, you had, this provider last year. If you want to keep your doctors, you have to keep that same provider, so we're not really like, reinventing the wheel by any means.
Sure.
So yeah, there's like 9 plans per provider. So it's like, which one would you like? pick it, and that's the next plan for 12
That's
months.
probably a big thing too about keeping your doctors. And does that change if you change plans? That does impact you, because I know that's obviously healthcare. People are comfortable with physicians that they have, and they do go from one plan to another. It may impact who they can go and where they can go.
Yeah, well, and doctors are coming and going now.
Okay, on their own.
Yes,
Okay.
like they're switching providers, or they're moving to a different town or something. So that makes it difficult too. The biggest problem we have with the marketplace is someone that lives in our area but doctors in Milwaukee. Like we don't have a lot of plans that cover that. So that's where we run into some problems. But yeah, basically we type in your providers, your prescriptions, that's the main thing. The plans aren't the greatest. It is what it is. We're not filing bankruptcy if something major happens, and we're still retired. Those are the positives.
Yeah, because realistically, if somebody gets to the retirement age, if they want to, if they don't want to retire, if they want to keep working a little bit, that should be their option, right? But they shouldn't have to be forced to. You do your best, try to make it so they don't have to.
Right, and quality of life. If it's like, yeah, I know you didn't imagine paying this much for, insurance, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, you do want to spend some of that 401k. Well, that counts towards your premium, but hey, that doesn't mean, hey, let's just, pinch pennies, until we're 65. And a lot of people are working till they're 65 now just to bridge the gap for insurance.
I have a friend who just retired at 61. I envy him. That's like 10 years away from me. I'm like, I'm not retiring it. So I'm not going to be able to retire at 61.
You never know, though.
No, I spent too much money when I was younger. Didn't put enough away.
I know, but
you can always start, because I'm 51. I can still kind of get on that train, right, and get to where I need to go in the next like 10, 12 years.
Absolutely. Like, for like 401ks, because typically everyone has one, whatever the match is from your employer, that is the minimum you do. At least do that match, and then, so you said you're 51?
Yeah. Oh, I'm 50. I'll be 51 on my next birthday.
Okay. So, yeah. So, you have time. And you don't have to have your retirement date set out now. You could have a health scare in 2 years and you have to retire.
Yeah.
So it's nice to set a game plan, but at the same time, you can always increase if you could still live obviously comfortably. You can increase your 401k contributions. Absolutely.
What typically you mentioned that's a big thing. If you're working for a company that is 401k, if you can hit whatever their match is, that's gold, isn't it? Because that's almost kind of doubles your investment then if it's matched.
We call it free money.
Yeah, free money.
Yeah,
yes.
because and typically people are doing around 3%, but I've seen companies 5, 6, 7%. It's like if they're doing that, do it. Absolutely. If you can swing it, obviously, and still live your lifestyle, like absolutely, because it's just going to give you peace of mind moving forward, in the future.
We're talking with Matt Heiar from Heiar Insurance here on 95.3 WBEV. I'm Wade Bates. I didn't mention, by the way, I'm filling in for Justin Wilski today. Justin's been gone all week, and he'll be back on Monday. He was going to come back today, and then we decided, I'm going to just take the weekend, Justin. So you had to go up you had put up with Kale last week, right? Or did you have Justin last week?
Nope, I had Ninja.
Okay, a Ninja last week, and they got me this. Okay, because I thought maybe Kale filled in last week. Ninja's been using up his vacation times, too.
Really?
Does that make you feel a bit dirty when Ninja's like off, or people take vacation now knowing that you're in your window of working long hours and helping people out?
No, everyone has their if he doesn't feel good or something.
No,
yeah.
He's sick today, but no. Did you take a vacation though when you get done through his window? Do you take a few days off? Do you say, hey, honey, we're going to Aruba. We're gonna go hang out for a little while. Gonna go in my basement.
It's scheduled in January.
Okay.
Yeah. Going to Mexico.
Going to Mexico?
Where are you going to ask her?
No, are you going to the East Coast or the West Coast?
We're going to the West Coast.
Oh, see, I've never been. So you're going to Puerto Vallarta?
That's exactly where I'm going.
See, that was on the list where we were going to go, and I've been to the East Coast of Mexico, like Riviera Maya, many times. Been to the Caribbean many times. Never been to the West Coast of Mexico. Are you regular over there?
No. I just 8 years ago I went there on my honeymoon. So we're going back, and it's really exciting. It's just a cool resort because it's not like one of those resorts where you don't leave it. We
Sure.
leave it all the time.
Okay.
And we walk down this huge boardwalk with all these stores and restaurants. So it's a little different than the typical all-inclusive.
I have a friend that could work from home, and she has a house in Puerto Vallarta, and she drives down there the day after Thanksgiving and stays until the spring and just does her work. She works in the States.
Wow.
Just works there, and because she's computers and such, and she loves it on the West Coast. She always tells me to go visit.
So my service for my cell phone was terrible.
Was it?
Yeah.
Well, she must have. she actually bought her own house down there. So I don't know if that's different than where you're at. But,
Could be. I mean, this was 8 years ago though.
Yeah.
So
you're going back. Happy anniversary.
yeah, it's exciting. So we're gonna go. I think I have some other friends and family that are going to. So we're just it's just kind of like that's my motivation.
Yep.
You know what gets me up? Kind of like okay, yes, we're almost done, and then it's just nice to break up the winter because these winters get a little cold.
They can. Well, we don't have any snow yet. Today's a beautiful day to go and work outside. Temps in the mid-50s.
Yeah, no, it's just we like I actually don't mind it until like Christmas, you know, and then all of a sudden after the holidays, you're like, okay, it's still cold and snowy, and I got to snow blow and shovel, and so it gets long, but we've had some pretty mild winters lately, so I can't like really complain too much.
No, it wasn't too bad. We got snow after the late last year, but then we got a lot, didn't we?
Yeah.
We're talking with Matt Heiar from Heiar Insurance Senior Solutions on 95.3 WBEV. We still have about 6-7 minutes left, Matt. Is there anything specifically we need to hit on right here that I know I've kind of been all over the place firing questions at you here today, but is there anything specific that people need to know right now that you want to make sure that they're aware of and it's on their radar?
So like I brushed up on it the last couple of weeks, but a lot of people have been coming in lately. So like I said, for Medicare plans, you can take an Advantage plan or supplement. Advantage plans are what we're doing now. 1-year contracts, you know, if you don't do anything, it rolls right over. But for an actual supplement, it's a policy. You don't have to renew it. You know, some of them you don't even pay a bill, or you don't get a bill, I should say. So yeah, that's great. And people love it, but they go up every year and they get very, very expensive. So if you're fortunate enough to answer a few health questions at no charge, you know, and with another company, we can get you the same benefits, no bills, and it's just a different company at a cheaper rate. And yes, that company's going to go up too, again, but basically if we're fortunate enough to actually reset our rates and have the same benefits, it's a no-brainer. And I feel like typically at the end of the year, underwriters are a little bit more lenient. I don't know if it's like end of the year quotas we have to get, like, you know, so many, every company or carrier wants, you know, so many supplements sold or something. I have no idea, but it's a no-brainer. Like when people they're like, I'm on one medication. It's like, what? Why wouldn't you switch then? You know, some people are paying $300, $400, $500 a month when I just saved someone $3,000 over 12 months. They saved, they're paying $6,000, $500 a month supplement. And I just got it for $2,880 or something like that, $2,900, and same benefits. So it's like, would you like to do it? And it's like, yeah, no brainer. But you don't have to make the decision. All we do is sign you up. We don't cancel anything. If they say yes, then you make the decision. Some people get approved and they're like, you know what? I just feel more comfortable with what I have. Okay. You know, nothing, no harm, no foul. But it's just, it's nice to even know like what potentially is out there, you know?
When you mentioned, you know, companies that get into the exchange or the plan, are there like startups that try to get in, or how does somebody get in to be one of those groups that you can look at and say, hey, this is a plan that works good for you? You know what I'm trying to ask?
Yeah. So like that goes through our insurance commissioner.
Okay.
You know, and he has to approve them, allow them, you know, certain like supplement companies. And then also like our Advantage plans are county specific. So you have to live in that county to be eligible for that. So like next year there's 38 Advantage plans, you know, in Dodge County.
And they're all kind of the same, but they all have their own nuance to them, and you have to be the person that kind of figures out what each plan offers each individual person.
Yep, and they're more government, so like they have to pay the exact same to agents.
Okay.
You know, so if this company paid double of what every other company, I bet you that'd be a pretty popular plan. You know, so they're regulated by the government that you can only get paid this much for each Advantage plan. So, which is good because it makes it a level playing field. But realistically, when we look at these Advantage plans, it's 3 things. What am I paying monthly? Where can I go? Like what networks? Do they have a network? Can I go out of network? And then what's the worst case scenario? So I know they talk about gym memberships and over-the-counter items and all that great stuff, but the 3 things, the actual health insurance, that's what matters. You know, mathematically, that's how I justify what plan is best for some people.
And obviously it's a lot of stuff to know, and that's why somebody like you at Heiar Insurance can help people weave their way through this time that can be stressful, but you'll do your best to make it unstressful and find a plan to work and get it set and get you set for retirement, whether you're at those magic ages or you're doing something else that's before you hit that age, right?
Exactly, and that's why there isn't a right answer, and that's, I think, because if I did the same thing every day, it'd be terrible, but everyone's different, and that's why it's so cool. And you get to meet so many people, and you're helping the people of your community. My old teachers, people that helped put my bathroom in, just different things like that. It's just really cool.
Young Matt, I never knew you've really become something, Matt. To get one of those of you walk in.
Okay, that was just that was example.
Thought.
I did not get a new bathroom. No.
Oh no, but I know what I'm just saying though. But you do work with people that like were your teachers or your mentors, and they come in and you kind of feel good. You can give back to them after they've given so much to you, making you the man that you are today.
It was actually deja vu because it was like they taught me, and then I'm educating them on Medicare plans. It was full circle.
It is. We're talking Matt Heiar from Heiar Insurance. Just a couple more minutes left here on 95.3 WBEV. If somebody hasn't made an appointment yet, you mentioned a lot of people are trying to get in. Can they still make an appointment sometime between now and when the door slams shut here in about a month and a half, or how does that work?
Oh, absolutely. We'll get you in. All you got to do is just give us a call. Your complimentary consultations. You're not going to get a bill. People ask that all the time. What do I owe you? Nothing. We get paid by insurance companies. But, yeah, you can give Jill a call. She's standing by at 920-887-0580.
Is she there? She's there right now.
She's there right now.
We have an extra microphone. Could we bring Jill in sometime? Get Jill. Would you think she'd want to?
She's done it before, but that was when we were upstairs.
Okay.
I don't know.
She wants to go on the TV now on Daily Dodge TV.
Maybe I could get her on.
Honestly, if you have not watched on Daily Dodge TV, you need to tune in just to get a look at Matt's mustache. you have the greatest mustache ever. No, is it? So have you always been a mustache guy? How long you had it for? Maybe a year. Has it been a year? More than that?
Yeah. I've had it probably a year now. I don't know. I think it's the only thing I can grow. The full beard thing, it's just too patchy.
That looks good.
Yeah.
You look pretty sharp.
Yeah, well, thank you.
So obviously a big weekend here coming up. There's no Badger football game.
I know,
there's no
slow.
Packer game. What are you going to do this weekend?
The last of the yard work.
Okay.
But aren't we supposed to get rain?
The Sunday.
Okay. So Saturday I know what I'm doing. I have a couple appointments in the morning, and then I'm going to cut down all the hostas and all that fun.
See, I did mine Labor Day weekend. I cut all the hostas down Labor Day weekend.
Jeez.
I know. Well, I just did because it was really nice that weekend, and I just went and cut the hostas and the peonies down, and still waiting for. I don't want to do the leaves. I'm not like a leaf guy that wants to do multiple turns on it. I got one tree where all the Christmas lights go up that still got some leaves on it. Mm-hmm. So I don't want to touch that part until it's done. And then the big thing for me is the rain I don't like, because if they all drop and it's dry, right wind direction, they all go into Cindy and John's yard. I don't have to worry about it. It's their responsibility.
They love you.
But then otherwise I want to be able to do one sweep, with the lawnmower, suck them all up, and then go and be done. As opposed to, are you a guy that likes to rake leaves?
It is kind of satisfying. Not rake.
No.
So I have a pull behind sweeper.
Okay. Oh, see, I was thinking about this. How well does the pull behind sweepers work?
They are fantastic.
Yeah. So it just takes them all and dumps them into the back of a thing.
Yep. And it's I do it while I'm mowing.
Okay.
So it mulches them up, and because if you just run it over the yard, it fills up so quickly because the leaves are so big. But it's great.
I'm gonna have to get me one of those.
I know, it was my Father's Day gift. I was like, oh, thank you.
You know what? What did I get for Father? I got a bird feeder with a camera on for Father's Day.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
It is kind of cool. So I can look at the birds close up when they come and
really
check that out. Put that on the Christmas list.
Okay.
Do you have to have your Christmas list already?
No.
No, family didn't ask. You know what's on my Christmas list this year?
What?
A Flowbee.
What is that?
It's the hair cutting thing with the vacuum.
Oh my
Remember that
gosh.
thing? Remember that thing from back in the day? You ever see a commercial?
No, I don't.
Look it up, the Flowbee. George Clooney said that I get mixed up for Clooney a lot. When I first moved to Beaver Dam, people thought Clooney moved to town.
Oh, really?
It was just me. But anyway, he uses a Flowbee. It's you hook it up to the vacuum and you just cut your hair. That's what I want, the Flowbee.
Really? I'm gonna have to look that up now.
Maybe I'll have to go to the pull behind sweeper.
That's a little bit more practical.
Okay, yeah, maybe somebody's selling one on the want ads tomorrow, and I can call in and get a used one to see if it works.
Oh, they're great. Do you have a riding tractor?
Oh, yes.
Oh, then it's a no-brainer. Absolutely.
Hook it up. All right. Again, Heiar Insurance, Matt, I appreciate you being here. I know you're busy. I appreciate you giving us an hour of your day.
Yeah.
Helping people out. Again, how do they get in touch with you at Heiar Insurance?
Yep. We're located at the Heritage Mall, so just give us a call for your consultation, 920-887-0580.
All right. We appreciate Wally Lukashinsky for spinning the dials back inside the Global Media Center. For Matt Heiar and Senior Solutions, I am Wade Bates on Daily Dodge TV and 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. Have a great day, everybody.